We are in the full moon of Adar Rishon, the full moon of the Purim days, Purim and Shushan Purim, which there's no special observance of except to eat a little bit more and to maybe be a little happier. Because we're in Ein Sof right now. This entire month puts us into Ein Sof, and the full moon within Ein Sof. And this is a super moon within Ein Sof, meaning that the moon is closer to the earth and it's even brighter. Remember, the gematria of Ein Sof is 207. It's the same as the gematria of Or, light. As you know, I think that there's too much, too many things, in Judaism. Everybody has, for the past thousands of years has written a sefer. You go to the library, there's books. There's enough books you can't read them. Take a look, even the books of the Talmud. Have you read all the books of the Talmud and the commentaries? No. And so the point is, it's just too much. It's what I call a Chinese menu, by the way. Years ago, I haven't been to a restaurant for a while, but the whole idea with the Chinese menu when I was a kid was they said, I'd like some beef. If you looked in the beef part of the menu, it said beef with broccoli, beef with Chinese vegetables, beef with lo mein, beef with beef and beef and beef. And then you go to the chicken, you see chicken chow mein, chicken chop suey, chicken chop. See what I'm saying? The choices were too much, and so are these choices too much. And that's how they give you, like Burger King used to say, have it your way. The individualized approach. And that, in America, that we call individuation, is the furthest thing from individuation. Let me repeat that. What here we call individuation is the furthest thing from individuation. I'm going to repeat that again. What we call individuation is the furthest thing from individuation. I said that 3 times. For each head there is in Rodlow. And if you say you repeat something 3 times, that's the way it is. That's that law of 3. Everything is broken down into a law of 3, of beginning, middle, and end. If you're a chess player, you'll know that. You watch television, and all the ads, you ever see the people when they call up a company and they get service, they go, yes. See, they've won. By winning, you lose. The loser wins. Winning by losing. It used to be a Japanese principle. say you take your client for a tennis game and you lose to your client. That client has that one of those yes moments, one of those yes principles, and he thinks he's somebody. He's better. He's better than the person who's trying to sell him the insurance. And then he feels big, and he lets you have the insurance policy. Well, who won? See, the person who won the tennis match, or the person who let the man win the tennis match so he'd win his real desire? Well, my desire, again, another long-winded here. What's my desire? My desire is to reach the ultimate goal. In Freudian thought, that used to be where id was, ego shall become. I'm going to have to repeat that one again. I forget it in the German right now. Wo ist waren? Where ego was, where id was, ego shall become. In the German translation to the English, of ego and id and superego, they lost the entire beauty of psychoanalysis. And within that, you'll see why it was all Hebrew and Judaism to begin with. You see. Where id was, id, by the way, in German is es, or it. They say where it was, the I shall become. The ego. I is what you see when we think of ego. It's the word I. The word I. The whole idea is to drop the I, to get it into the S, to the it. It is reigning. You become an it. And what is that it? That's Hashem. That's the nature underneath everything. When you get to that level of being the it, that means the I is dropped out. And how do we do that in Hebrew? Again, how do we do that in Judaism? With all those books and all those menus, and I'll have soup and I'll have a salad du jour. All those choices, the I has to die. And let me repeat that. The I has to die. Let me repeat that. The I has to die. And how do we do that in Judaism? We do that at the Shema. And we do that at the Shema. And what are we actually doing? We're changing. We're converting. We're changing the ani, the I, into the ayin, to the nothing. We're changing ani into ayin, the simplest thing in Hebrew, the simplest thing in Judaism. It's brought down especially in Hasidism. We're supposed to biddle the self. Erase the I, become nothing. The I, when it becomes nothing, becomes everything. It becomes an it. You are an object. You are not. You die. When you die, see what happens. You're nothing. When you're nothing, you become it. IT. You know? The IT world that we're in. You know? IT. You think how they get that? Yeah, sure, because the self has dropped out. The ego has dropped out. The I has become an it. When that happens, okay, let's get into it. How to change the ani into the ayin. Easy. Transform the letters. Realize that what's holding you back is that you're an ani. When that ani transforms its letters, aleph, nun, yud, ani. When you take, after the aleph stays the same, you change the din letters around and you get aleph, yud, nun. See, I would change that nun, changes into a final nun and drops way below the line. Aleph, nun, yud, that's ani, into an aleph, yud, nun. Same gematria, although can be 7-Eleven. So when you pass a 7-Eleven store, know that that's the ayin. But it's the same gematria of 61. And that's Bittul B'Shishim. That's the aleph in 60. Did you ever hear Bittul B'Shishim? That means like 1 in 60. In Judaism, that's the ayin or the ani. Change around the din. Your individuation in Judaism is to become zero, ayin, nothing. Fs. Did you know that the Rosh Tivo of Fs, if you switch the final letters, is the same as a Ein Sof, when you have it Ein Sof with 3 letters, Aleph, Samek, squiggles, and Pei. The whole idea is to become nothing. That's the entire opus of Judaism. For the ego, I, me, the I to drop out. When that drops out, which is a perfect time right now of Purim, and a perfect time of Shushan Purim, within the first month of Adar Rishon. This entire month, you're entering into this area that permits this. That's why I'm suggesting it right now again. Let's get real. Let's get to the mamish. Okay? The whole idea of Judaism is to enter into the S. See? It is raining. You're not raining. It is snowing. It is doing everything. Once you realize that you're not the individuation, but your lack of individuation is your individuation. Die before you die is another expression of the same thing. Die before you die doesn't come through in Hebrews, in Judaism so much. It's there, but it's not extended. It comes through in Islam and in Sufism and in esoteric Islam. Basically, you're the living dead. It's a zombie. Be a zombie. That's what you're after, and that's what you're going to be here. When you change the ani into the ayin. In another sense, when you ever hear the videos of Bruce Lee and his, kung fu or his martial art, what he used to say is, be like water. Be like water. Water flows into the open hole. See, it's not stiff. It says in the Talmud or someplace there, be supple like the reed, not stiff like the cedar tree. The reed blows in the wind. With a too severe wind, the cedar goes down. Be like water, Bruce Lee is telling you, and it sounds like he's talking about mikvah to me. That would be funny, wouldn't it? So these days of Shushan, of Purim and Shushan Purim and the month of Adar Rishon are special days of energy, special of the special, and permit the ani to transform into the ayin. And when you're ayin, you're up in those levels of Ein Sof. When you change into the Ein, you're in Ein Sof, and after Ein Sof, there's a level of Ein. And that's where this month comes from. This intercalculated month. How the Malkus, which is the Ani, transforms and becomes a Keta Malkus. And when it becomes a Keta Malkus, that Ani transforms into the Ayin. The same letters, but transform upwards into the Ayin. The Din is transformed. This is available especially in the nighttime Shema. When you give up your life, and it's available to the martyrs who die with the Shema on their lips. And it's available to us right now.